What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second edition of our video mock draft presented by Between the Lines Sports. I'm your host, James Ivy Williams, founder and CEO of Between the Lines Sports. And today we are presenting our mock draft 2.0. This is the second edition of our NBA mock draft. We'll do this every month leading up until the NBA draft. And there's a few changes. I'll just say that there's a few changes that we made. Some guys have moved up, some guys have moved down, some guys have moved on, some guys have moved off. But the team and we did the best job that we could possibly do covering the entire landscape of draft eligible prospects from Atlanta to Berkeley to New Jersey to France to Spain and everywhere in between. We did a really good job trying to just make sure that we see the best available prospects for you guys. Evaluate them, gather intel on them. And this time we're going a little bit more in depth. Or last month rather, I got a few complaints that our mock was more of a big board than an actual mock. So this time we have teams, and this is all based on the Tankathon current standings as of February 13th, Monday, February 13th. So this is the order that we are going in currently. So we're going to dive right into it. So at number one, we have the Houston Rockets taking Victor Wembanyama. No surprise, right? I don't think too many people are surprised by Victor being taken number one. You know, he's a freak of nature. He's not normal. He's something that we've never seen before. I've said this so many times since I saw him in person back in October. I didn't know what to say about him. He was one of those guys that you just didn't, it's something that you've never seen before. And so my thing is, I said this on our top 10 list. I'm going to say this again. If you're picking at number one, you take Victor Wembanyama unless somebody gives you everything you can ever ask for in a trade. Danny Ainge, Utah Jazz, Scott Presti, Oklahoma City Thunder. You guys have everything. So just saying. But anyways, yeah. So for me, Victor Wembanyama, it's a no-brainer. The kid is a generational talent as of now, and I think if he pans out or if he doesn't, no one would ever say you should have taken someone else over Victor Wembanyama. 7'4", athletic, can shoot it from the perimeter, block shots, runs like a gazelle, has great hands, has touch around the rim. I mean, what do you want? At number two, we got the San Antonio Spurs taking Sterling Scoot Henderson from G League Ignite, 6'3" point guard, 19 years old. I said this before as well. Scoot's ability to improve as a playmaker, as a passer, play with pace. That's one of the things too. I haven't mentioned that before, but Scoot's ability to play with pace is something that I've also really been impressed with as he's moved up and improved over the last 2 years. Like I said, I've said this before, Scoots was always just a guy that was 90 miles an hour up and down the court. But now the ability to play with a little stop and go, slow to fast, fast to slow, and get guys off balance. I think it's a lost art for point guards. A lot of people struggle to create separation, and I think it's because they don't understand how to play with pace. They want to do all the moves and all the things they work on with their skill development trainers, but not really understanding how to set guys up for those moves. And Scoot does a really good job getting guys off balance, getting guys to move their feet, getting guys to shift, which allows them to get by them and also allows them to get into their body, get into their chest, and knock them off balance as well. On top of the fact that he can make every pass, I think in pick and roll action, he can make the pocket pass, he can make the bounce pass, he can make the regular push to the corner pass. He can make an over the head hook pass to the opposite corner. He can hit everything. Hit the guy lifting from the corner. Whatever you want, Scoot can do. Scoot also has the ability to become a really good on-ball defender, long arms, athletic, big hands. And on top of that, the pull-up jump shot that he has and the improved shooting from the three-point line. Scoot's one of those guys that I think people are going to really be impressed with once he gets to the NBA. For me, the thing about Scoot that I know for certain is the character piece. Scoot's a guy that you could build a team around, not only because of his talent and skill set, but also for who he is as a person. Sometimes you want to find good people, and it's hard. He's the kind of guy that won't disappoint you with the kind of person that he is. At number three, the Charlotte Hornets select Brandon Miller from the University of Alabama. 6'9", small forward, freshman. Brandon is one of those guys that I think there's been some talking about. I think the talk is starting to subside a little bit because he's continued to be very consistent, shooting the ball from the three-point line, shooting the ball off the dribble. He's starting to improve as a finisher around the rim as well. Some of the stuff I think is just adjusting to a new system, a new level of competition, being around people that are just as athletic as you, just as long as you. And so trying to figure out how to navigate those situations. But I think he's doing that very well. I think Brandon's shot making ability, along with the ability to just handle the ball and create for himself off the dribble, is one of those things that I think just has him being a really good walk into the NBA kind of guy. At number 4, we have, this is the first surprise that most of you guys, if you guys watched our top 10 that I dropped, you won't be surprised by this. I've already got a little pushback, but I don't really care. At number 4, we've got Jarace Walker from the University of Houston, 6'8" power forward freshman. Interesting thing about Jarace, people are unsure if he has the next little push to become a focal point. The thing that I think that people don't understand, I think you have to understand how to do two things when you're a primary guy. You got to understand how to be a leader. And you've also got to understand how to fit in. I think he already understands how to fit in, but I think his game has the ability to be a focal point for sure. Size, athleticism, ability to make shots from the three-point line, great touch around the rim, really good passer, the ability to defend multiple positions. All these things I think translate and transfer right away. I think he's going to be one of those guys that there's not going to be a time where he's unsure about his physical presence on the court. And the thing from there is just simply getting comfortable with the NBA game, figuring out spots, figuring out the spacing, and then he just kind of fits right in because I think he does all the things that you want a power forward that can handle and shoot to do. At number 5, we've got the Orlando Magic taking Ausar Thompson from the Overtime Elite. 6'7" small forward, 20 years old. Ausar is a wing that can pretty much do a little bit of everything outside, shoot the ball well from the perimeter. He can handle the ball. He can create opportunities for his teammates. He finishes well around the rim. He finishes well with contact. He's athletic. He can make every pass. I wouldn't say that he's a great passer, but he makes the right reads is what I would say. I think the issue that we know obviously is his inability to be consistent from shooting the ball from the three-point line. If he continues to work on that, which he's already made an improvement. I mean, I think people don't believe. I think they see Overtime Elite and they think novelty. That's not a novelty. These guys are in the gym. I've got contacts over at Overtime Elite, and I know for a fact that Ausar and his brother are both in the gym all the time. And the more that you're in the gym, the more you're working on your craft, the better you're going to get. And these guys are improving drastically. I was at the first game last year. I was at the first game this year.
And I've seen them at least 24 times over the course of their 2 years at Overtime Elite.
They're not the same players. And I can tell you that as they've grown, I think the issue is that the gap they've separated themselves from with the rest of the guys at Overtime Elite is pretty drastic. And so I think people assume that they haven't improved. They've improved quite a bit. And also being able to see Amin and Ausar in high school, knowing the transition that they've made from high school to Overtime Elite and getting ready to go into the NBA draft. At number 6, we've got the Indiana Pacers taking Amin Thompson from Overtime Elite, 6'7" small forward, 20 years old. Very similar game as his brother. Can put the ball on the floor, can create for himself off the dribble, can fucking defend his ass off on the perimeter. I think on ball, off ball, really good instincts, playing the passing lanes, quick hands, really quick hands. The one thing that is the knock for sure is the shot as well. And I think he hasn't made the jump that his brother's made, but I think with time they will improve. And the thing is, we really want them to simply just be quality three-point shooters. We're not looking for them to become Steph Curry, or Klay Thompson or anybody else for that matter. We just want them to be quality three-point shooters. I mean, really, if you're shooting 37, 38% in the NBA from three, you're a stud. I mean, really, if we can get them around 34, 35, somewhere in that range, they're respectable. And then you got to guard them. And then all that athleticism and the ability to create and pass, all those things come into play. And then they're hard to guard. He's hard to guard from there. Moving on at number 7, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans taking Anthony Black from the University of Arkansas, 6'7" guard/forward. Anthony's playing the lead guard role right now for Arkansas, and I'm not surprised by this. Anthony has really good passing instinct. I saw him play in person recently, not on the fact that I've seen him play several times in high school, USA basketball, things like that. Anthony's ability to simply just create opportunities for his teammates is something that's special. At 6'7", being able to facilitate, make every pass. It's one of those things, like I said this in my video previously, when you see him and you're a basketball guy, you know what passes should be coming, and he makes those passes on target in the shooting pocket. I mean, it's something special to watch. I think the issue for Anthony is his shot also. I think a lot of these guys are going to come into the NBA with holes in their games. None of these guys are perfect, and nor should we expect them to be. We just want them to be able to continue to improve. But the things that Anthony does well right now is he can make every pass, he can handle the ball, and he's a really good on-ball and off-ball defender. He's an active defender. He'll chase you over the screens. He gets skinny. If he goes under, he's long enough to contest shots from a distance. I mean, there are things that Anthony does really well as a defender, playmaker, and athletically. So that makes him a really solid pick for the New Orleans Pelicans at number 7. At number 8, we've got the Orlando Magic taking Keyonte George out of Baylor, 6'4" combo guard. He's probably a 2/1 in my opinion. Keontae's ability to just simply create shots for himself. The one thing that I like a lot about Keontae, in my opinion, is his ability to just create space. While he's not the fastest or the most athletic guy with the ball in his hands, he's crafty and he's skilled with the ball in his hands. He's got really good footwork that allows him to create separation and get his shot off. He's strong. He can finish through contact, and he's a willing passer. I keep saying this too, like he's not a pass first guy by any stretch, but I think just teaching him how to make the proper reads will allow him to just create opportunities for his teammates when he draws so much attention as a scoring option. And so that's why I like Keyonte George. I think he must improve his ability to guard on the ball. And I think that's more so just engagement and to be intentional playing defense. But I think he has the body and the frame to be a good defender as well. At number 9, we've got the Washington Wizards taking Cam Whitmore from Villanova, 6'7" small forward, freshman. Cam's athletic. Cam can finish over the top of you. He's really strong, physically strong kid, but has a little bit something to him in his bag. He can create for himself, side steps, step backs. No real mid-range game. He's got some touch around the rim, but I would like to see him work on his mid-range a little bit. And then the other thing I would like to see him do is probably work on his ability to shoot the ball off the catch. I think he's a lot more comfortable shooting the ball off the dribble. I think if he worked on shooting the ball off the catch, which I think will probably be more of the role that he'll have in the NBA, it's simply because I don't think he'll have the ball in his hands that much. I think he'll be a secondary or third option as far as a ball handler goes. But I think working on his ability to shoot the ball off the catch from the three-point line will help him and allow him to kind of fit in right away. But I think his athleticism, his physical presence, and he's got some defensive versatility as well. I think he can guard 2s, 3s, and 4s pretty well with his strength. I think, again, he's another guy that has to stay intentional about his desire and ability to play defense. I think once that happens, I think he's gonna make sure he can stay on the court. At number 10, we have the Toronto Raptors taking Gregory Gigi Jackson from the University of South Carolina. Gigi's got a little bit of everything. Gigi moves really well off the ball, flashes to the rim, finishes well around the rim, plays that dunker spot really well, can shoot the pull-up 3 and the catch-and-shoot 3. He's also a really good playmaker. He can put the ball on the floor. I wouldn't say he's got a lot of wiggle, but he's got enough wiggle, especially if you've got a guy that's not as athletic or as quick as Gigi. He can get by some guys, and then if you put somebody smaller on him, he's going to take him down to the block. He's kind of like the perfect mismatch, to be honest. I think his ability to shoot threes help keep people honest when they're guarding him, and then on top of that, his ability to play make. I think Gigi's thing with a lot of the other guys is simply the consistency with his shooting from the three-point line. He probably needs to tighten his handle up a little bit, and he definitely needs to be a little bit more engaged on the defensive end. At number 11, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder taking Cason Wallace from the University of Kentucky, the 6'3" point guard. Cason's not a guy that jumps off the page. He's just solid. And then offensively, he's just solid. I think he does everything that you want him to do, makes all the right passes, can shoot the ball from 3. I saw him in person this past weekend against the University of Georgia. Cason, I think, was coming off a knee injury, so he didn't have the pop or the burst that I would typically like to have seen, but he still made an impact as a facilitator, and he scored a couple buckets down the stretch in a close game that they ended up losing. But the one thing that I know about Cason and that most of you guys know about Cason is that he is an elite on-ball defender. He may be the best on-ball defender in this draft class, and that's saying a lot with the likes of Anthony Black and the Thompson twins in this class also. He is very elite on-ball defender, turning guys, getting up in them, really quick hands, get for on-ball steals, plays the passing lanes really well off the ball as well. I think that's going to be his calling card, to be honest, in my opinion. I would say think Jrue Holiday is probably the guy that you should probably think about when you're talking about Cason Wallace as a on-ball defender, as a point guard. At number 12, we've got the Portland Trailblazers taking Grady Dick from Kansas, 6'7" small forward freshman. Grady's key attributes, in my opinion, are his ability to play as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, coming off pin downs, coming off screens in transition. The thing that Grady has to work on is probably his handle the most. I think Grady's really good attacking closeouts. And as a straight line driver, he's athletic enough to finish over and or through contact. But I think the one thing that he needs to work on, in my opinion, is his ability to create for himself off the dribble and play make for his teammates as well. Although I wouldn't say that he's not a willing passer. I just think the ability to see things happening a step ahead would help him for sure as he transitions to the next level. At number 13, we have the Utah Jazz taking Maxwell Lewis from Pepperdine University, 6'7" small forward. He's a junior. Maxwell has a little bit of everything, to be honest. He's kind of got a traditional NBA wings game right now, where he can put the ball on the floor for himself, so he can create for himself off the dribble. Shoots it decent from the 3-point line, off the dribble and off the catch. He can go down to the mid post a little bit, turns back to you, shoot turnaround jumpers. Got a nice little touch off the glass. He can also get to the rim, finish around the lane. The issue that I know that Maxwell has probably more than anything else is the playmaking ability. While we can talk about talent and where he's playing, I think making the right passes and making the right reads, I don't care who you're playing with. I just want you to make the right reads. We can see that as evaluators. We can see you making the right pass, as opposed to being concerned if you're getting an assist or not. Just simply being willing and able to make the right passes are important for me. And then on the other side, I think the defensive intensity needs to come up a little bit. But I think overall, Maxwell Lewis has a great skill set, great size, great fit as an NBA wing right now. At number 14, we have the Golden State Warriors taking Nick Smith out of the University of Arkansas. 6'3" combo guard, freshman. Nick's ability to create for himself is one of those things that I think garnered all the attention he got pretty much after the All-Americans sessions that happened last year, McDonald's, Jordan Brand, Nike Hoop Summit, things like that. I think Nick's ability to simply create for himself, and he plays with like a tenacity. He's really aggressive getting into the lane. He imposes his will as a small guard, which is something that we haven't seen really a lot in recent years. But I think Nick's ability to just create for himself, and he's a rhythm shooter. So I think him having the ball in his hand, being able to shoot it off the dribble from the perimeter, getting into the lane, floaters, runners, mid-range pull-up jumpers, things like that. He's got all that stuff in his bag. I think the issue is Nick as a playmaker. I'm not sure how good of a passer he is right now. And unfortunately, not being able to see a lot of games for Nick is something that I think we're going to have to really like dive in a little deeper and figure out what his game really is. There are going to be other scores on the court with Nick, and I think Nick's if he's going to be a really good scorer, he's going to garner attention, which means he's going to have to make the right reads as well. I think defensively, Nick has the ability as a quick twitch guard to really be active and be intent on the defensive end. It's just something he has to decide that he wants to do on a consistent basis. The first thing he has to do is kind of stay healthy and stay on the court so we can really get a good feel for who he is as a basketball player. At number 15, we've got the Atlanta Hawks taking Dariq Whitehead out of Duke. The 6'6" small forward is a freshman. Dariq's kind of one of those guys. He's like a Swiss Army knife to me. I know he started off slow because due to injury. Dariq's one of those guys that, again, won McDonald's All-American MVP. I think he won Jordan Brand MVP. He won several MVPs and all the All-American stuff coming into this his freshman year. And for me, Dariq was probably my favorite high school player coming out of high school last year because I think, again, watching how he played, he just looked like an NBA player. He never seemed to get sped up or rushed. He was always under control. He can make a catch and shoot three. He can make a shoot three off the dribble. He can rebound and push in transition. He's a willing passer to his teammates. He can defend multiple positions. He finishes well around the rim. He's got really good size and strength. I really think that Dariq had everything except like he didn't have any. I think the issue that I think some people have with Dariq is that there wasn't a lot of pop, and maybe he's not as athletic as some of the other guys. I believe all the qualities he has as a basketball player overshadow his deficiencies. And I think Dariq's ability to shoot the ball from three, and like I said, be a really good wing defender are going to get him on the court right away. And I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a much better pro than he is a college player, whether that's due to injury or system or whatever the case may be. I think Dariq's just going to be one of those guys that just kind of fits on the NBA court right away once he steps on. Okay. Do me a favor. I hope you're enjoying the mock draft that we're presenting to you right now. But do me a favor, when you're done with this video, visit BTLHoopstore.com. We've got a lot of great gear, hats, magnets,
hoodies, sweatshirt, a lot of really cool swag, BTL by ATL swag. This new line represents where I'm from, what I'm all about, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please stay tuned for the second half of the mock draft coming right now.
At number 16, we've got the Utah Jazz taking Jet Howard out of the University of Michigan. The 6'8 freshman is probably one of the biggest surprises for me because I just didn't expect this from Jet right away. But at the same time, I did know that Jet's game would translate better to the college level from the high school level due to spacing primarily. I think in high school there's really poor spacing overall, no matter what high school you go to. And I think he went to IMG, which is one of the premier high school teams in the country. I just think, Jet's ability to transition to Michigan and know how to play basketball, know how to create shots for himself, know how to get to certain spots on the court. Obviously, that kind of helps when you got a dad who played in the NBA for 20 years. But Jet's ability to kind of do all the little things on top of the fact that he can make shots. Jet can make shots off the dribble, off the catch. He can shoot it from three, get to the mid range a little bit, finish. He can shoot over smaller defenders. He's not bothered. He definitely has a mindset of a guy who's ready to play at the NBA, in my opinion. The issue for Jet is going to be defense, the intensity, the awareness, the intention to play defense. He's going to have to be intentional and deliberate about playing defense. And I think if he does, he'll stay on the court. At number 17, we have the New Orleans Pelicans taking Bryce Sensabaugh from Ohio State University, 6'6", small forward / shooting guard. Is another surprise. Another guy I've seen since high school, but Bryce is one of those kids that just makes shots. I mean, it's the easiest thing I can say. Like, Bryce is going to make shots, whether it's off the catch, off the dribble, mid-range. He's really good in the mid-range too, by the way. Really good in the mid-range. Going left, going right, both sides, corners, short corners, kind of stuff. He makes shots. Bryce can play, and he's a sneaky athlete, and he knows how to play basketball. I think one of the things that I think Bryce has to work on is his ability to, when he gets in trouble, to not over dribble, make the right read, make the easy read too, make the right read, make the easy read, get his teammates involved, and be comfortable and confident enough that the ball is going to come back to him. I think sometimes he forces shots which are unnecessary, which I think gets him into trouble. And I think once he decides that he's going to make the right read and the easy read, and be comfortable knowing the ball's going to come back to him, I think he's going to be better off, on top of the fact that he needs to be deliberate and intentional about playing defense. At number 18, we have the New York Knicks taking Terquavion Smith from NC State, 6'3" point guard. He's a sophomore. Terquavion he's an interesting prospect because he could have came out last year and probably would have been a late first round pick. And I think right now we've got him in the mid first round. I think Terquavion is a guy that he can fill it up. He can make shots. He can create shots for himself. He can shoot it with range. He can shoot it off the dribble. He can shoot it off the catch. He can make the right read. Although I think he's definitely a score first point guard, I think he has the ability to make the correct reads as well. I think the one knock on him is he's slight of frame. I saw him in person when they came down to Georgia Tech, and seeing him up close, he's really skinny. He's really slim. And I think although he's probably working out and he's stronger than he looks, he's still light. And I think it's one of those things that I think if at the NBA level, people are going to try to probably pick on him to start. But the thing is this, he plays defense. He gets active on the perimeter. He's got quick hands. He's a pest on defense. And I think it's one of those things, I think that's probably how he'll get on the court as well. Just being consistent with his defensive intensity, and on top of his big shot making capabilities are things I think will bode well for him at the next level. At number 19, we have the Houston Rockets selecting Emoni Bates from Eastern Michigan, the 6'9" small forward, who's technically a freshman because he did reclass and he got the extra COVID year, so I'm calling him a freshman. To me, this is his true freshman year. And if you've been watching Emoni Bates, he's had some games that are just eye-opening, mouth-dropping. I mean, he had a game, I think, against Toledo where he scored 40-something points and scored 29 in a row. I mean, Emoni can make shots. I saw him at South Carolina in person. He made shots that game too. Like Emoni's one of those guys that when he's on, he's on. And I think that's what's going to keep him on the court right away. His ability to make shots from the 3-point line. He can put the ball on the floor. I think he has to work on creating separation and not just putting the ball on the floor for the sake of putting the ball on the floor. I think once he kind of plays with more intentionality about what he's going to do, I think, and understands where his spots are, understand how he gets his shots off. I think when we see him play in certain games, you see what he has and you see those sparks of like, oh, this guy can really fill it up. And I think the issue is going to be probably more so defense. That's it, defense. Imani's going to have to learn how to play defense and be intentional about playing defense. I know this is a knock on a lot of these guys. It's defense and it's shooting. Those are the two things I think most of the guys in this draft class are going to have to work on. I think Imani's no different. He's going to have to work on defense, work on consistent shot making. At number 20, the Brooklyn Nets taking Jalen Wilson out of Kansas, the 6'8" forward. Jalen tested the waters last year in the NBA draft, got some really good feedback, and he's come back a much improved player at Kansas this year. He's shooting really well from the three-point line right now currently. He can put it on the floor a little bit. I think he's more of a straight line driver, in my opinion. Can play a little inside out, but I think he's more comfortable playing on the perimeter, not with the ball in his hands, but more so shooting threes and catch and shoot opportunities. He can play some pick and pop or some trail stuff as well. I think he can defend threes and fours pretty well, and maybe some five in a pinch and some small ball lineups. But I think he's probably going to be most comfortable defending threes and fours, physically strong, athletic enough. I wouldn't say he's an elite athlete, but athletic enough. But this just the ability to kind of know how to play basketball, being in Kansas 4 years doesn't hurt at all, playing for Bill Self, winning a national championship last year as well, and now coming back being the primary guy on that team with some really good talent, to be honest, as well. And so I think Jalen's ability to make shots and defend multiple positions is gonna allow him to get on the court for sure. At number 21, we have the Portland Trailblazers taking Noah Clowney out of Alabama, 6'10" power forward. He's a freshman. He's another surprise. Again, I've seen Noah since high school. Noah surprised me a lot because I just assumed that it would take him a little bit longer to get comfortable and get acclimated to the college game. Coming to find out, he started his first game in college. Noah has a little bit of everything as a big forward who can shoot the ball. While his percentages don't show it, I think that's more so due to shot selection. Noah has a fluid jump shot, and he can knock down three-pointers off the dribble, not so much, but more so off the catch and pick and pop situations and trail situations. But they do run a little action to get him shots, to be honest. Another thing, Noah finishes well around the rim. He runs the floor really well, especially in rim run situations. He has really good hands, and he's athletic. I mean, what are you looking for? I mean, he's a stretch four. I think he's a stretch four that can shoot it. Shooting, he's not just going to rely on threes, although I think he did get a little shot happy starting towards the beginning of the season with the threes because he was shooting a much higher percentage. I think he started taking some quicker shots and some more contested shots, which dropped his shooting percentages a little bit. But he finishes really well around the rim. And I think a skill set that I think people overlook on him is his ability to mix it up and rebound on the interior with bigger, stronger guys. I think Noah does that really well. If you watch the game against Missouri, he banged and he pushed around guys and he dominated that game on the interior. I think he went 6 of 8 or something, or 6 of 10 from the interior. I don't even think he took a 3 that game. So I think Noah has the ability to do both, shoot it from the 3-point line, finish around the rim, defend. He moves his feet well laterally, and he stays vertical on the interior as well. I think Noah's got a lot to work with, and I think if the Portland Trail Blazers get him at 21, they'll be really happy with Noah. At number 22, we've got the Miami Heat taking Jordan Hawkins out of UConn, the 6'5" shooting guard. He's a combo guard. Jordan can do a little bit. Jordan put the ball on the floor, first of all. I think that's the thing that I think most people know about him, his ability to create shots for himself. He shoots it from the 3-point line, but he can create for himself off the dribbles. Got a nice little mid-range package as well. Defensively, he's decent on ball, plays the passing lanes really well, long arms, really quick instincts too. Like I think he jumps past lanes, although we don't see it a lot. He has the ability to play the passing lanes really well, pick off passes, and push the ball in transition. I think that's another thing. He's really good in transition as well, pushing the ball, creating opportunities for his teammates, and finishing around the rim for himself. So I think Jordan Hawkins right here at 22 is a good pickup for the Miami Heat for sure. At number 23, we've got the Sacramento Kings taking Jalen Hood-Schifino out of the University of Indiana, 6'6" combo guard. He's a freshman. Another surprise for me. Again, not in a bad way, just more so I didn't expect this from Jalen right away. Jalen's got a lot to work with, though. Jalen's got, at 6'6", he's got really good size, and he's physically strong. He's not a scrawny kid by any stretch, so he's not going to get pushed around. And Jalen has something that in his bag that most kids don't have right away, which is a pull-up jumper. He's got a really good pull-up mid-range jumper, going right or going left. So those two things are really good. I think on top of that, he can really get after on the defensive end. He can guard 1s, 2s, and 3s, in my opinion. But he's quick enough and strong enough to contain 1s, and he's big and athletic to guard 2s and 3s. I wouldn't say he's an elite athlete either, but I think he's athletic enough and knows how to use his size and strength to negate guys on the wing. I think he rebounds pretty good for a guard as well. He can push in transition and create opportunities for himself. I think creating the consistent jump shot from the behind the 3-point line is something that he needs to work on. I think once he does that, I think we're going to see a really good NBA player in Jalen Hood-Schifino. At number 24, we've got the Brooklyn Nets taking Kobe Jones from Xavier, 6'6" small forward. Kobe's one of those guys that does a little bit of everything. I think he can make open shots from three. He can attack and close out in a straight line drive. He can finish around the rim. He doesn't have a pull-up game right now. He'll make the right read, and he can defend multiple positions. I think, he's good. He has good size. He has a good physical frame, and I think he can defend multiple positions. Probably more so being more comfortable defending twos and threes, but being able to defend those two positions are going to be key at the next level. And on top of that, the ability to make 3-pointers off the catch. He can shoot it off the dribble a little bit as well. He's got decent range. He can extend it a little bit more, but he's got decent range already. But I think the ability to knock down threes, defend multiple positions, he'll make the right pass, and he's got good size. I don't think there's anything not to like about Kobe Jones, to be honest. He probably needs to improve his handle a little bit more. Not to be a primary guy, but just to keep guys honest sometimes. He may have the ball in his hands more than he thinks from time to time. So just being comfortable with the ball in his hands and creating for himself off the dribble. I'm at number 25. We've got the Memphis Grizzlies taking Kris Murray from Iowa, the 6'8" power forward who's a junior. He can shoot it from three. He can put it on the floor a little bit. He's got good size to go on the post. He's got good touch around the rim. I think the issue is going to be for him defensively, being laterally quick. I think he needs to improve his lateral quickness to you get picked on. If you're a big who can't really slide your feet well, they're going to put you in pick and roll situations, and they're going to switch until they get the matchup they want, which is probably going to be a matchup that he doesn't want. And so you got to work on his lateral quickness a little bit, but I think he can do that. I think he's a hard worker. What I know about him and hearing stories about him and his brother, they worked really hard and improved their stock going from, high school to fifth year seniors, and then, working their way into the rotation, and now both being, primary guys in back-to-back years at Iowa. So I think he's shown the ability to improve and make improvements. I think he's going to continue to make those improvements. And as he does, I think he's going to continue to get better. So I wouldn't be surprised if he improves his lateral quickness and becomes a better defender on the perimeter. He's already a pretty good defender on the interior as well. He rebounds. He can push a little bit in transition also. So there's a lot to like about Kris Murray right here at number 25 for the Memphis Grizzlies. At number 26, we got the Indiana Pacers taking Derek Lively II from Duke, 7'1" center freshman. Derek's had a rough go of it so far at Duke, but I think he's kind of turning the corner a little bit. Picking up first of all, he's a shot blocking machine. I think more so for him, it was just been getting minutes. But I think now that he's getting more consistent minutes in the rotation, he's blocking shots on a consistent basis. He's a legitimate lob threat, pick and roll action, even some dunker stuff as well. And also he's a tip dunk. He's an offensive rebounding, problem. If somebody shoots the ball, you probably want to go find Derek and put a body on him, or he's gonna dunk it on you. But I think Derek's long. He's athletic. And I know for a fact that he can shoot the ball. So it's something that I know that he's not doing a lot right now at Duke. But I think once Derek gets into private workouts, people are going to see that he can shoot the ball a lot better than he's showing at Duke right now. And I think he's going to be a guy that could potentially jump up this board a little bit as we get closer to the actual draft, because I think Derek has a lot more in his tool belt than people think. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. But I think right now this is a potential over production kind of pick right here at 26. But I think it's something that will be worth it, because I think Derek definitely has the skill set and be a stretch five and interior shot blocker for sure. At number 27, we've got the Utah Jazz taking Sidy Cissoko from G League Ignite, 6'6" small forward, 18 years old. He's a French national, if I'm not mistaken. I think what I like about Sidy the most is, honestly, he's a really good passer. I saw them in person a couple of times. Obviously, I saw them back in October playing against Metropolitan 92. Then I saw him again in January play against the Birmingham Squadron. He's a really good passer. He can make every pass, and he's one of those guys that he sometimes makes a hockey pass where it's just the right pass which leads to the next pass to get a shot. I think he's kind of one of those guys that plays like a pro. He just makes the right plays. It may not come across in the box score, but I think he's going to do things that are going to impact winning for sure. I would say think about Boris Diaw or Nick Batum are the guys that I would probably compare him to, just as far as just doing things and playing the right way. And it may not come off on the box score, like I said, but I think he'll make an impact for sure. He's got a lot to work on. Obviously, he has to improve his shot making ability from the 3-point line. But he's a decent rebounder. He can push it in transition. He can put it on the floor. I wouldn't say he's got wiggle, but he's got enough. I think he knows more how to play. He plays angles well. He jab steps, pump fakes, gets guys off balance and to get by them, and then he'll make the right read or make a shot around the rim. So I think it's one of those things I think City has the ability to continue to improve. But I think he'll be a steal for Utah, to be honest, at 27. I think he just knows how to play basketball. At 28, we've got the Charlotte Hornets taking Taylor Hendricks from UCF, 6'9" freshman. Another surprise for me. Guy I saw in high school a little bit, AAU a little bit. He can't stretch it out and shoot the ball from the three-point line a little bit. He's got decent form. He's shooting right up under 40% from three on about almost 5 attempts a game. So I think he's probably going to be one of those guys that he's like Noah, in my opinion. He's getting opportunities to play a style of play that fits him well. And his ability to kind of shoot the ball on the interior and the perimeter, step out and stretch the floor from the perimeter is something that I think he's going to be a steal for somebody because he has the ability to stretch the floor. I think it's one of those things that I think if you can shoot the ball and or play defense, those things get you on the court, but you got to be able to do both to stay on the court. And I think he's going to have the ability to do both. I think he can guard on the perimeter a little bit. I think he must improve his lateral quickness overall, but he'll bang on the interior and I think he has decent lateral quickness and length to bother people on the perimeter as well. So Taylor Hendricks at number 28 for the Charlotte Hornets. And number 29, we've got the LA Clippers taking Kyle Filipkowski from Duke, 7-foot center. Kyle's got a little bit to work with. Kyle's got really good footwork on the post. He's got touch around the rim. He can step out and shoot the ball from three. He's not laterally quick though. He's not laterally quick. I think he will be a guy that gets picked on in pick and roll coverages in the NBA. So I think that's something that he has to work on and improve is his lateral quickness. But I think it's something that I think he will improve on. I think he's got really good skill. I think he's talented. I think he's smart. And I think he'll work on those things that he needs to improve. But I think, that's the one thing that I think he must improve on is his lateral quickness. I think he also needs to improve on just overall finishing through contact a little bit more. While he does bang, I don't think he likes to get hit first. I think he wants to make the initial contact. So I think he's got to work on being comfortable taking that first hit in the chest as well. At number 30, we've got the Indiana Pacers taking Khalil Ware from Oregon, 7-foot center. And for me, Khalil is very similar to Derek. Another guy that is a potential over production right now. Khalil is a 7-foot center that can also shoot the ball from the three-point line a little bit, can make an impact as a rebounder and a shot blocker. I think he's really good defending the ball on the perimeter as well. I'm not sure why his minutes have been kind of so up and down at Oregon this year, but I think when he gets in the game, he makes impacts right away. He finishes around the rim. I think he's quick off his feet. Every now and then you'll see him make just a crazy dunk. He's got really good hands. He runs the floor well, but I think it's something that I think he needs to improve on. I think more so one of the things that I know about him is, or what that I watched about him is the motor. I think he needs to improve his motor, intentionality with being intent on the court. I think if he's a little bit more intense and a little bit more deliberate about what he's doing, I think maybe those minutes go up as Oregon gets deeper into the season and into the Pac-12 tournament for sure. But Khalil Ware has the ability to do a little bit of everything. I think he's another guy that's going to be a better player in the NBA than he is in college. I think he's going to also probably have the ability to shoot this board a little bit as well once he starts getting into NBA workouts and people see his skill set overall, which is his ability to shoot the ball from three, finish around the rim, get off the ground quickly, guard on the perimeter, all those things I think bode well for Khalil. So that's it. That's 1 through 30. That's our first round of our mock draft 2.0. Guys, we did a lot of work. And again, please go to the website, check out the website. We have our first round, our second round, and then we actually also did another 40 guys. And so we got an entire 100 guys total on the list. But the mock draft with the teams are 1 through 60. And then we've got 61 through 100 that are just going to be guys that we think are also talented enough to play in the NBA, whether they become free agents, two-way guys, NBA Summer League invites, things like that. So there's a lot to check out on this mock overall. Head over to our website, www.btlhoops.org. Check out the mock draft. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BTL Hoops. For all content, we do our prospect recap stuff every week, and we have snippets from that every day on top of players that we're pulling from our actual mock draft and potential prospects, and we're doing video breakdowns on those guys as well. So check out all of our content, check out all of our stuff. Website, www.btlhoops.org, Instagram, Twitter at BTL Hoops. And until next time, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Peace.